Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. We live in a complicated world. And in that complicated world, tragedies are exaggerated if they suit a narrative. They're also diminished if it suits a narrative, or hidden completely if that will protect someone that they want to protect. We know this. And because there is so much exaggeration or diminishment, even in the face of true tragedy, we've had to start looking at things with a skeptical eye and look for possibly those elements that would tell us that this tragedy had been exaggerated, staged, or is somehow different than what we're being told, because clarity and honesty and true disclosures are hard to come by. One such case is with the school tragedy this week in Tennessee, in the city that starts with the letter N. Okay? Sharp-eyed viewers are noticing some incongruities in the released footage that is being given to the public and that we are told is from that one incident. And I say that one incident because I'd like to show you something. Hang on, share the screen. Apparently, here is the perpetrator of that event. And here is a video footage of that person going into that building. After they were neutralized, here is another picture. And somehow, this perpetrator went from Vans to Pumas. Okay, not kidding you guys, that's actual video footage. Now, our world has seen the end of what we call a hoax. When there's a hoax, those were glorious things. That meant the entire event was staged and there was no collateral damage or loss of life. Because those were so easily dispelled, discovered, now when we have a false flappy thing, it truly does involve loss of life. So please never think if I say something or that the cards are telling me that something has been to some degree staged, that I'm not totally sympathetic with the fact that regular, normal human life, which is not valued the way it should be, was caught up in these events to make it look more realistic, to fit the narrative, to create public outcry. And because of that incongruity with the shoes, and I have a feeling in the days to come, I did the sway test on this. I didn't read the cards, but I did the sway test. There's going to be more incongruities that are shown in this tragedy. So let's ask the cards. Was there an element of staging involved with this tragedy? And are there other insights and information the universe wishes to share about it? Again, not saying that it did not happen, just asking if there is an element of staging to it, to this tragedy, and if there's other insights or information to be had at this time. Let's find out. Okay, the tragedy in Tennessee. Was there an element of staging to it, to what we're being shown of it, and to the events in general, and is there other insights and information for us? Our first card is the Queen of Swords. Then we have the Queen of Wands. We have the Sun. Pentacles. Two of Swords. The Chariot. And the Six of Swords. Well, let's look at the cards we have, and I'll explain what insights I'm getting from them. They're really beautiful, heartbreaking, but beautiful. And then I'll tell you what elements in the cards led me to that. First of all, the loss of life was absolutely genuine. Those 6 victims truly were victims, absolutely. And, but they're already celebrating eternity, okay? And I'm not getting an indication that would explain why footage has been released showing 2 different types of shoes. Again, we talked about how when there is a false flappy thing, quite often, you know, there's genuine loss of life involved. And I didn't get any hard yeses with my question about was there staging, but I didn't get any no's indicators either. Let's look at what we have, okay? With the question being asked about the Queen of Swords, showed up as our question, and she is very much about truth and honesty. The Queen of Wands is a card of discovery and accomplishment, optimism. In other words, saying, yes, it's true this has happened, but be optimistic. And why? In the recent past, we have the Sun card. And so they are already with the sun they worshipped. Okay. In the present, though, we've got some sadness happening as these events are uncovered. And if more elements of staging are brought to light, it's going to cause confusion and consternation. But it needs to be, this is a card of necessariness. And so if there is more elements to be found that just don't add up, they need to be brought forward. Okay, let's look at the future card here. We have the 2 of Swords telling us that this is often a card of compromise. And I'm getting that the compromise had to do more with what was released and wasn't, information they chose to withhold from the public for whatever reason. I know there's been some talk on alt media about how the gender identification of this perpetrator, they were hoping to keep that quiet. They being, you know, people that want to portray the trans community as solidly peaceful and loving and actually persecuted. Now, we have the a clarifier and advice here with the Chariot card. And he shows up when there's events and things moving. And yeah, so we do have some events happening here. Getting reassured again with the 6 of Swords, and there were 6 victims of that shooting, that they have moved out of this life into the next. And again, their troubles are over. Okay. We've got a card showing some heartache. The Temperance card letting us know that because of the actions of those involved, the loss could have been worse. It was tipped to a minimum with the response of law enforcement. And I've heard people say that that footage looks almost like it was done for a training film and should be used as one. Hopefully it wasn't a training film that was modified. It was just well-trained personnel making sure that they responded quickly and effectively to a threat. We've got the Knight of Wands showing up. When he shows up, he's a restless energy. And again, we are in a time when events are happening fairly quickly. We've talked about how this spiral is happening with, it's gone from having a news story of the week to one of the, almost every day, because as evil is being vanquished, they're still trying their old playbooks. They just try it faster and faster and can't believe it doesn't work. And then our final card is the 6 of Wands, a card of victory. And again, I'm saying that victory is for those 6 souls that were caught up in this event. So let's recap. The cards didn't explain to me why footage has been released that shows 2 different types of shoes on the alleged perpetrator. I say alleged because possibly one of those is footage from another news cycle story, what have you. So we didn't get an explanation for that. We got some hints that there may be some more incongruities that are noted by sharp-eyed citizens, or, if you're not paid to be that sharp-eyed, you're called an anon. And we got some reassurance from the universe that the 6 victims of that tragedy truly were victims, but have moved past this plane of existence and are where there's no more fear, no worry, and no more pain. They will be missed by those that love them until they're reunited. This seems to be a season of loss for humans. We are losing loved ones to medical choices, to tragedies, to poison food supplies and things like that. We are all finding we have to say goodbye to individuals. And I look forward to the day when those losses are truly unavoidable. They're timely, they're even celebrated, that it's a transition that's chosen, and one of joy, which we sometimes see with people of faith. But I think we're going to be able at some point to see it worldwide. I look forward to that day. In the meantime, let's keep those sharp eyes out, noticing incongruities, because the only way we can stop false flappy things from happening is by having them not be effective. Behaviors are repeated because they work. So we need to make them not work. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time, your viewership, and your support. I appreciate it greatly. And until next time, I send you love and light. And even though this wasn't the happiest things to talk about, I wish you all things bright too. We've got these people. Our world is changing and they don't like it, but we do.